Coming up in about an hour and 5 minutes, I'm going to air large clips. It's only 13 minutes. I might air all of it. But I want to stop and comment on each section and analyze the propaganda that our tax dollars paid for, what they're brainwashing the FBI recruits with, and what they're giving to police and military and others, and how this ties into the MIAC report, the DHS report, saying veterans, gun owners are the #1 terror threat. If you have a Bob Barr sticker, a Libertarian sticker, a Ron Paul sticker, an In the Fed sticker, you're a terrorist. Paul Watson, as we speak, has a big article, big exclusive article going up on prisonplanet.com about state, and we've already confirmed this with state officials that we're in contact with. In fact, let's get that state rep guest on. That's a good idea. In Missouri, with the hearings they've had on MIAC, where the feds came in and were teaching them that the founding fathers are bad. I actually have video of that in Missouri, the police being taught that by FEMA, that the founders are bad, America's bad. I know this sounds crazy, but this is really going on. So that's coming up next hour. But with us, 5 minutes in the next hour, roughly 55 minutes, is Mike Rivero, whatreallyhappened.com. And he joins us today live here on the radio and at prisonplanet.tv with a whole host of issues to talk about. Mike Rivero, good to have you here with us.
Thank you for having me back on the show today.
It's always good to have you. I want to take a lot of calls today when you're on with us, but let's get into a host of subjects. I want to get into bill would give president emergency control over the internet, taking over all the private IT, a new private group of federally certified IT commissars to be over even private networks by law, a form of indentured servitude, converting the whole economy over. I want to get into the latest flu developments. They're now admitting quarantines, forced inoculations. That doesn't mean they're going to get away with it, though. It just means they're going to try it. Obama's plunging approval numbers, just all the things that are happening. But, Mike, out of the gates, I'm asking you this, not having any idea. What do you think is most important right now? What is on Mike Rivero's mind?
Well, I think the first topic you mentioned is definitely important. We're seeing all this legislative push to give the government control of the internet in a so-called emergency. We're also seeing where certain organizations like Wikipedia are now going to decide for you what is trustworthy and what is not. There are going to be little color codes. We know there's a new web browser in development that will have built into it a little indicator on whether the link that is showing on your page should be considered trustworthy or not. And this is a desperate panic attempt by the government and the corporate media to take us back to the 1950s and 1960s when we, the American people, would rely on government and the media to tell us what to think and what to believe in. Of course, the whole point of the evolution of the internet and the blogs and the Alex Jones show and what really happened is that the American people are learning to trust their own analytical ability to decide what is true, what is a lie, what is false, and the government is scared out of their minds about it. The corporate media has lost control of the American public. They're trying to figure some way they can convince you to give up trusting your own mind and go back to letting an authority figure tell you what is true and what is not true. Just last night we had another National Geographic show out there trying to resell the idea that anybody who thinks there's a conspiracy about 9/11, there's just got to be something wrong about those people and you don't want to hang out with them. And again, it's the same stuff they have been hammering before. They go right back to that no plane at the Pentagon thing, and they use that as the primary lever to try and convince people that there couldn't possibly be anything incorrect about the official government story of 9/11. They've lost control of the American people. That's why we're seeing this anger surface in the town hall meetings. The health care reform is just the fuse. The powder for the anger is being lied into war after war after war, being lied to about 9/11, being lied to about TWA 800, being lied to about Pearl Harbor. Torture, all of it is building to a head right now. The government knows they can't lie to us anymore with any kind of success. They're desperate to figure out a way to reimpose that rule by lie. And
Mike, you're right. That before you leave, I do want to talk some about the National Geographic show. I did watch part of it last night. They fired a missile with a pound of explosive into a chicken coop, a fiberglass chicken coop, and it blows up, and they say, see, explosives would have blown up the whole Pentagon. I mean, that was insane. The other parts I saw were insane. They used a few clips of the, quote, truthers, and they would put the name truther all crooked down at the bottom like it was all disjointed. Just the way they shot it, the way they did it. the way they zoom in on a Band-Aid on Richard Gage's show, or zoom in on Dylan Avery picking his mustache or whatever. I mean, just everything, because I've had that before. I mean, I've had national media follow me around for 2-3 days, and the one time I wipe my nose, I see them looking at me, and I go, oh, that's going to be on TV. You know, they use every little slip-up, and they do everything they can, just this image, and the camera kind of crooked when they're talking to you, but when they talk to the debunker, it's all crystal clear. I mean, they do this over and over again, so I want to go over that today coming up, Mike. But first,